Okay, guys, this is going to be a little short video on sort of parts to use, parts to not use anymore. I keep seeing builds, even in like top 10 in Clan Wars, where and I know this isn't, it's not just about Clan Wars, but in PvP as well, where I think, obviously, if you're trying to do an art build, that's completely, obviously make it however you want to make it look. But if you're trying to make a really strong build, whether to use on PvP, whether you're using Clan Wars, like whatever you're trying to use it for, there are a couple of items that I think should be on every single build. There are a couple parts specifically that should be on every single build. And today I'm just going to lay them all out on the ground for you. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think a lot of people just sometimes, yeah, just don't really know what they're doing with them, why they're good, why they're bad, why people use different ones. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to just lay them all down. So in this mode, in storage, if you go to your type, I like to do it by durability because it's easier. If you do it by mass as well, that's also like what I sometimes use as well. But if you're trying to find just the best parts, we're going to do non-bumpers, right? Because even like these released like just this week, I think, in the pack for the Artemis, right? And they are just better versions of small plows. Like they are bumpers, they're 160, these are 166. These are 230, these are 270. So, a far better part, very, very similar size. So, of course, you would use these over the small plows, right? But we're going to ignore the big, heavy bumpers for today, and we're just going to do the parts to give you flat Dura to mass. And what I mean by that is not Dura to the entire build, as bumpers do, as it counts as that on your sort of build thing. So when you go over here, usually, and you can read like total, can't do it on this screen, but it will say like on the other screen, yeah, you can basically see the amount of Dura to the build. So when you put things on here, it will basically just increase. And yeah, it doesn't really matter for now anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about specifically the parts that give you flat cab Dura. So we're going to put all the best ones down, and we're going to break it down why. So what we're trying to look at is something that's 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1 ratio, what I mean by that is parts like this. Parts that are 110 to 115. So you're getting 115 mass, 110 Dura. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Same with the Sayer. We're looking for parts as close to this as possible. So some of the bigger parts, when you get into like these crane sides, are almost 50-50, right? They're 144 to 132. It's almost like 150, 300. So they're not bad parts at all, but they're not the most optimum. If you compare this, right, for 144 Dura for 323 mass, you have parts like this, which are 200 Dura with 176 mass. So just far better parts for far less Dura. Same with these, right? So you see, like, okay, this part says on Dura wise it's quite high. It's a 218 by 272. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of the best parts in the game. We're going to put them all down in the garage, so that when you make your new build, however you make your new builds, please ensure that you are using these parts. And yeah, of course there are other parts you can put on. Like on some heavy builds, I put on the freight train plow because it's just a flat. If I have mass spare, it's just like a flat amount of bumpers. I mean, which is fine. And again, sort of similar thing. It's like it's a 50-50. It's 80, 1600. It's not amazing. Could be better, but it's okay. There are definitely a lot of these which are very similar, sort of 50-50 parts. Like these are all sort of somewhere around like 50-50. Some are better than others. Some are worse, of course. Like this one would be a really good one, I guess, because it's not 300, 600. It's like 360 to 610. So it's almost like it's improving, right? It's slightly better ratios. You're looking at more than 50-50. So 50% of the Dura for the mass, right? That's what I'm trying to say anyway. Same like for instance, this is a little bit better. It's not great, Anyway, so in terms of the best parts in the game, we're going to place them all down. So the Horo is an exact big old bumper. It looks like it could be a train plow. It's a big old part. It's 300 Dura, 600 mass. It's not the best part in the game. It's not the most optimum part in the game. It's a very, very good one though. And it does have that machine gun damage, which is quite important in this meta right now. That sort of resistance pass-through sort of thing. Not shoot-through, but just the pass-through part of it, I mean, sorry. Anyway, so we're going to do the same thing. So we've got that part. Next part, we're going to go for the observation compartments. One of the best parts in the game. Same sort of reason for the Horo. They are massive. I mean, they are humongous. Like, this the best part about these is they take up a lot of space, which is great. And they have fantastic ratio. And this is 50% shoot through, so this is a fantastic part. So you see that little one where it says 25% with 2 bullets, that's for machine guns. This with the penetration through this sort of thing, that is your pass through. So these are fantastic little parts, these observation compartments. Very, very good Dura to mass is what we're trying to say. We're trying to get as close as we can to the same mass and Dura. It's a prime example of one of the best parts in the game. It's massive, has good stats, good Dura to mass, a lot of mounting points as well. Really easy to build with this thing. A lot of different variations you can do. I think on all of my builds I have 2 of these. Not always do I have a horror, because sometimes it's not needed on some of the lighter hovers, and it's kind of annoying actually, in fact. But something like this, it's perfect for all builds. There are a couple builds that I use this on, but yeah, have to use this part. What was I doing? Oh yeah, next. So we go down the list, right? We've got those sort of parts. These are all bumpers, right? All these ones, all the way down to the Battle Walkers. Battle Walker again, same sort of thing. We're looking at the shoot-through stuff. We're looking at the Master Dura. Fantastic Master Dura ratio. It's almost 1-to-1, similar as the observation compartments. So right now we're looking at 200, 176, another fantastic part. I don't know why I keep going out, I'm really sorry, this must be annoying. Anyway, next we're going to go down the list. We see a lot of these parts. The Mempo is fantastic, and again it's sort of a 50-50 part. It's like, you might use it, you might not, it's good, it's, you know, these are both good parts. I think if this is like the tier list, they'd be like somewhere in the middle. Like, they're very good if you have the mass left, but I wouldn't say they're like S tier movement parts. So imagine this is your S tier, this is like A tier, which is I guess where these would be. These are sort of the only parts we'll be covering today, but for sure this is like one of the ones I'd say, if you can use the Socorro, you can use the Mempo, and you have mass spare, do use them. They are well worth it. Same with this, it's like they're 122, 213, they're good, but they're not quite broken, sort of thing. They're not quite there. It needs a little bit more to be better, but they are very, very strong regardless. Same with sort of these. You see, like, all these are very similar, but the mass kind of gets quite variable, whereas even these are like sort of 40-60 ratios. Anyway, so we keep going down. We see this one again. It's sort of almost 50-50. It's a good part. It's not amazing. I use these on most of my heavier builds. On the light sort of hovers, you use these sort of things. So in terms of like prime parts, these are your ones. You want these on every single build you can. Whatever build you're making, you want these parts. These are, if you have mass, these are your secondary parts once you've decided what you're going to do all these. Okay, the Saya. The Saya is fantastic. Again, looking at the stats, looking at the Master Dura, looking at the mounting points as well is very important on this. There's a lot of mounting points. It's actually quite nice to fit in at front of hovers, at the back of a lot of builds. It's good for armor. It's good to hold on pieces with that shoot-through element. Again, I feel like this whole bit so far is all just things that have shoot-through and really, really good Dura to mass. The Saya is another one which is included in that list. So yeah, use the Saya. Okay, this part. So this is another one. I use this a lot on quite a few of my builds. These Malikas. They are very, very good. Very, very good ratio. I don't know. I've never really not used them, to be honest. There's only a couple hovers where they're a bit inefficient, but again, the ratio is really, really good. It's better than 50-50. It's sort of like, if it was 100 to 200, it'd be like sort of 60-40 again. So only 80 mass difference. It's actually quite nice in comparison to a lot of these, which are a lot more substantial. So I would put these in the same sort of bracket as these. For mass, they're really good. If this is 120 for 250 and this is 110 for 190, this is clearly a better part. For me, I would put this in this column here because I just think the ratio and the amount of time I use them, I guess, is so often on most of my builds. I think I always sort of have them in there. But yeah, I would say generally you put them in sort of A tier, I guess, which would be this sort of line here. But yeah, we're going to keep going down, ignoring a lot of these because they just don't have that great ratios. I mean, like, if you're on a spider or a heavy build, for sure, but otherwise, These as well, fantastic little parts, wonderful ratios of 130 to 236. They have the fire element, which is the main bit. So when you're fighting firebugs, having that 40% resistance on these parts is great to have at the back of your build, especially when you're being chased by a firebug. Yeah, just 40% resistance on a part that already has 113, and it's very big parts. It's a bug can't really ignore it. this is like anti-firebug sort of part. So, you know, if you want to use it for that specific thing, put it on the back of your build, chuck it there. It's brilliant for that. But I wouldn't say it's quite for the ratio that great. If it's not more than 50-50, it's kind of hard to put it up there. Okay, and the coup de grace. So this is one of my favorite parts in the game. This is the best part in the game, arguably. It is brilliant. It has the shoot through. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It has a ton of mounting points. It can be used to lock guns, hold things, hold ammo. It can be used to fix things in place. It can be used for outside armor. It's kind of good at everything. It's small. You can put it in a certain way that it's hard to shoot, like this. You can use it as full armor, like this. A lot of different ways that you can use these right and left radio bonnets. Yeah. This is like an S tier part for me. I use it on every build. These, again, as I said, these are your parts you have to use on every build. If you're not using these parts on every single build, you're not building right. Okay, next. Again, we're gonna know, like, this is a good part, right? But it's just, look at this. Like, it's so hard to use this because it's just so thin. It's so small. It's like it should really be here, you know, but it has no shoot through. And it's a bumper, so it's just sort of, it should be good, but it's not really. This must be really annoying. I keep doing this. Okay, yeah, so going down, we're going to go Montefortinos. So these are also really, really good sort of A tier parts. Again, I use them on all my builds that are myriads and stuff, but you know, this is if you can add them. If you have the mass, these all should be on your builds. This is your core. All builds should have these parts. These ones just come out in the battle pass. This one, I think, is in the crafting you can do, I think, for your badges. Actually, all of these should be in your crafting for your badges if you don't have them. But these are currently in the battle pass. So bar that, these sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts have to be on every single build. They just have to be. They are the best parts. They will improve your build substantially for the mass to Dura ratio. Okay, going a bit down. So we got through these. These are wonderful. Yeah, so the big round bus rear things, whatever they're called. Again, really, really good parts. Not quite amazing parts, but good ratio. Not really much more to say other than the fact they're just really nice, sort of big, wide parts to help connect things on a build. A lot of my spiders and myriads and stuff have these back, in the middle, on the side. Most of these connection points rather than actual giant armor, especially when I don't want to use the big APCs, because a lot of the time this is just not needed for 140 versus this at 110 already for, you know, 130 less mass. Like you might as well use the rear doors. They are just better than a lot of the APC parts these days. Okay, next. So we're going to ignore a lot of these. This part, flaming one, is brilliant. Brilliant little part. Again, another A tier part. It is fantastic. It's good to use like the back. It's good to hold ammo boxes. I tend to use it if you can imagine that there was a frame here, like on this foretop. I put the ammo box, for instance, a blue little ammo box in there. Very, very nice to hide things. Good ratio. Again, another sort of A tier part, I guess. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, yeah, going down. So this one, again, fantastic another part. Again, I use it on every single myriad I've ever built. It's brilliant. It's sort of like an APC part for better ratio. So think about it like this, right? 100 Dura, 189. You go to the APCs, you see 140 for 360 Dura. It's just not viable for another 30 Dura. You might as well use this. Save yourself 140 mass, that sort of thing. But yeah, fantastic part. Now the mounting bracket, another S tier mounting point. Another S tier build part. Again, we're looking for a 1-to-1 ratio, right? So we're on 99 mass for 90 Dura. This is almost 1-to-1, very similar to this left and right radiator bonnets, yeah. Yeah, so the mounting brackets, some of the best parts in the game. Again, if you have not got them on your build and you're not doing things right, they should at least be, well, 2 of them if you can. They should just be on your build by proxy. On every single build, these are your parts you should have on every single build no matter what you're building. They should be on there somewhere. Just find a way to do it. They are the best parts in the game. You cannot not use them. Yeah. Because I realized that this video was going to be about like 30 minutes this video would have been like 30 minutes if I kept going with the way the video was going, so I thought I should shorten it for you guys. So anyway, as I said, these parts are ones you need to use. These are all like your A tier parts. At the very, very end, there are a couple parts you're going to want to use. So if you go into your durability again, you're going to want to go down to these sort of things where they are. Where the hell am I blind? Mass, sorry. Yeah, so things like armor slabs. These are fantastic as well. And obviously the Battle Walkers. You're also going to be looking at one or two other parts. Anyway, I just wanted to put these sort of in there because there's a lot of parts here. Again, if you see any of these parts in the listing here, these are the ones you're going to use in your builds. Every single build. If they're heavy builds, you're going to use all of these. If they're lighter builds, you might not be able to use them all, but these are your core. But these are also fantastic just because of the resistance to machine guns. That's 65, the 60% and the 85%, as you can see on the features, the very first one with the little bullets. This is good stuff against like Punny, Devo, all that sort of stuff, any sort of machine guns. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long, otherwise it would have been, as I said, like 30 minutes long of digging into every single part in the game. There's a lot more to do in that sort of aspect of the game, so I just thought I'd leave it here. Anyway, as I said, these are your parts you use. Put them on every single build whenever you build a new build. You can thank me later for it. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. I will be making another video on the best parts in the game to use for bumpers as well. It's just, I think bumpers aren't as used as much, so it's kind of quite, you can do a pretty short video on that. Whereas the armor piece is a bit more complicated. But yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys. And I'll see you, I think, for a stream maybe, maybe later. I can't remember what I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing a stream, I can't remember now. Anyway, yeah, have a good rest of your day. See you in the next video, guys. See ya!